Hello, welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Copper State Models, brand new 132nd. This is the Nieuport XVII Early, and I have to say, I'm a bit of a fanboy of Copper State Models. If you don't know, this is their first 132nd scale kit, so now this is like the dream come true, because obviously till now I have to put my money literally behind Wingnut Wings, because they are, as far as I'm concerned, the best manufacturer of World War I aircraft. You might know from my previous reviews that actually I love Copper State Models. They are very, very similar. And to be honest with you, I did ask them outright a few years ago, do you copy? Is there a tie-in? What's the deal? Because you two seem to have everything in tune with each other. And they said, no, nothing to do it. They've taken, obviously, the best of everything you see from Wingnut Wings and hopefully improved on it even more. So, fair play to them. So, down in here, as you can see, beautiful box art, okay, the usual way with it. Quick run round on the box, as we can see. So we've got obviously the different versions out there as well. So again, as you might imagine, some very famous ones just down in here right the way through. All right, and then obviously on here. So number for this one's dead easy, 32001. Obviously it's their first 132nd scale sort of aircraft. So in the box, we've got this double box system. I get into it, always gets me. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, this beautiful box within a box system. So we undo the lid and then we are greeted by, obviously we've got the instructions. Love the way it's this age look to it and stuff like that. Very, very nice. Okay, separate bags, all injection molded, obviously. Okay, and then down in here, hopefully we'll find some decals and a little bit of photo etch. So let's just move those aside and keep those all to one piece. Okay, so your booklet, as you can see, very nicely done, this sort of age look to it. And then, like we were saying, we can't be helped to be impressed by the quality and the look of their actual instructions. So as you can see, usual thing, got your parts layout down in there, you've got your colour call outs down in here, and then going right the way through on these. So again, beautifully laid out. We've got some descriptions down here of all the parts going in, giving you detailed areas right the way through, pointing out all your rigging, your various things, as you might imagine doing these old World War I aircraft. Okay, and then right the way through, showing you in detail all the way that it goes in and how it should be, control cables, various things. Absolutely love this, absolutely beautifully done. Okay, right the way through to all the controls and everything. Very, very nicely laid out. Down harnesses, talking about the buckles, all again in detail pictures, and then pointing out how some of the parts should go and how they fit together. Again, really, this is what I was saying about this, the book itself, and I'm calling this a book, not an instruction leaflet, is because it's teaching you about how everything works, control fixtures, rigging, things like that in here, and giving you the scales for them of what to use, like a 0.1 wire, various things all the way through. Then we're working our way through the actual canvas sides of it, putting those all in and putting the upper plywood areas onto it. And then, as you can imagine, right the way through, like you'd find pretty much on everybody else's. Okay, and then going through, again, just the detail involved in some of this must be absolutely painstaking to go through. And again, right the way on, spinner going on the front, depending which one you're going to be using. And then we've actually got the colour call-outs for them. Some of the interesting things to point out as well, right the way through, as you can see on this. Okay, some very nice markings down in there, and obviously about the team that put it together. If you're not impressed by that, then you'll never will be, put it like that. I just think that instructions like this, especially on technical aircraft, and it's amazing when you think of a technical aircraft being a World War I, but from a modelling point of view, you've got things like rigging to talk about, and obviously linkages and all those things going into it. They're incredibly complex on the inside. Morton stuff, obviously don't get any of that. This you do, and that is the thing to it. So having a booklet like that, that's teaching you and showing you with those great photos, is an absolute resource. Because normally you'd be there trying to get references and various things, and this thing about where does it go, you don't have that problem with that at all. Then down in here we have a very nice piece of photo etch. So we've got some we were talking about for the harnesses and the bits down in there like that. Again, very nicely done indeed. Okay, and then we've got the decals, which are actually quite nice because they're in a Ziploc bag. And we have a little star of the show just there, so let's do decals first. So again, beautifully painted, printed, done by cartograph, as you might imagine, and actually they are gorgeous. They are very thin, but the colour is absolutely solid and radiant right the way through. Kind of catch it on the light so you can see there is no carrier to it. It runs right to the edge, right the way through. And again, numericals down here for any type of numbering you want with these, which is a nice thing. And then some of these other markings down in here, just like that. Again, very, very nicely done. And because it's got cartograph, you know, this is gorgeous and perfect right the way through. This here might look like a piece of acetate. You're thinking, right, okay, acetate and all the rest of it. This, you might notice, is pre-cut. So this has been die cut for you as well, which is absolutely great. So no longer do you have to cut around and try and get it right and everything else. These are actually die cut. And I actually think this is the first time I've ever seen die cut film in here done in this way. I don't think I've ever seen it on a kit before to date, okay, or certainly anything I've reviewed. All right, so again, very nicely done. Nice to see they've taken the time and the effort to show those parts. Right, okay, so where are we going to start? Where are we going to start? Again, it's one of these things, it's all over. Okay, so in bag one, okay, we can see beautifully done, very, very nice indeed. Got a little bit of flash on this one here and there, I'm not going to lie, just little bits and pieces, but they are easy clean up on all of these parts. Again, beautifully done, very, very nice. There's no mismolds, no anything whatsoever. Okay, very nice. And again, just like the wingnut wings, all the ejector pins are not on anywhere big. So you can see you've got the control for the actual areas. Say, tiny little bit of flash on this guy down in here. A couple of swipes with a stick will get rid of that. And then obviously we've got the fuselage areas and that plywood top deck. Again, very, very nicely done indeed. And if we have a wander around all the parts, you can see beautifully done. Good, clear design. Got the gun down in there as well, looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, and we've got the spars for the actual top deck for that plywood to fit to, and the gear, the various things. And then on the inside, as you can see, we've got various ones down in here for the actual ribbing and the areas. But again, down in here, no ejector pins whatsoever on any of the major parts. So they're all nicely put out of the way. And again, very, very nice indeed. Good, clear job on those. Okay, then we got the wings. Okay, again, very nicely done. Love that sort of stressed look to the fabric on these as well. You can probably see them catching in the light. They look absolutely gorgeously done. Okay, so again, moving a little bit closer so you can see the details on the wings. Very nice, and the tops. And again, no ejector pins on the parts. Got the spinner, again, a little bit of flash just here and there around on these. And then again, this is the lovely thing with this. Other manufacturers, you find big ejector pins in here, you'd have to dig out. But nothing like that at all. And on the underside of this wing, right the way through, nothing whatsoever. So again, very, very nice to see that done like that. Again, really hard to find fault on these. And the amazing thing is, obviously, they're not a very old company, so they've come so far in such a short amount of time. Again, very nicely done. Good detail right the way through. Again, there's very, very little flash anywhere on this whatsoever. It's pretty much flash free. Just tiny little bits here and there which need a little bit of cleanup. But again, looking through sides, very nicely done. Got all the parts, got that prop, so that's the clipped prop on that one. Okay, the sides, we've got the wheels, got the ailerons. Okay, internal rigging, more guns for the different types, backs of the seat, the wheel sort of outer hubs, things like that. And again, very nice inside here. We've got the sort of, you know, machining marks into the aluminium onto this one. Very, very nice indeed with the different types. And again, with the wheels, that sort of standard way of doing it with the hubs in there right the way through. So again, very nice indeed. Okay, so might as well just get straight to this one. Again, modular, because obviously we've got early and late types of this in here. So that's why we're seeing a few of these. And again, we've got different ones. So we've got that nice different type with a spinner cap. This is the full spinner cap on this one. And the different sides. And again, fully machined. No ejector pins in there, which we absolutely love. Right the way through on all of those. Very, very nice indeed. And then last up, we've got the engine. So we've got the engine just down in here. And again, beautiful, beautiful details right the way through on this one. Very, very nice indeed. Again, beautifully cast and everything. Tops of the pots, everything down in there, as you might imagine, just like that. And there you go, an absolute beauty. This is one of those things now where obviously having just finished the Wingnut Wings sock with camel, which is available as video build, absolutely loved it, went together fantastic. Again, it's one of those ones that I always think Wingnut Wings, Wingnut Wings. Now we've got 1/32 scale with Copper State models doing it as well. Love it, absolutely. So now you've got different versions of it, and to be honest, they're a little bit cheaper as well. So if you put off somewhat by the Wingnut Wings price tag, these guys are a little bit cheaper, and it's definitely the way to go. But it has to be a highly recommended.